Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your salads, and it's wonderful to see such a full room and all these faces. It's my great privilege and pleasure to welcome you all, but most importantly, my partner in crime, my friend, our cherished Board of Counselors Chair, Sherry Thorell.
Thank you, David. So many of you know that today is my favorite day. It's a time when our students, who have worked very, very hard to be able to qualify for financial assistance, it's a time that we can celebrate you. And it's also a time that we can celebrate those very generous benefactors who have made it possible for you to study at the Davis School. So for the students, congratulations on all you've achieved. And for the benefactors, our deepest appreciation for your continuing investment in the Davis School. And I believe, after you had a chance to meet some of these students, that you will believe that your return on investment is the best of any you have ever received. So because I've been privileged to serve as the chair, I've had the opportunity of introducing our dean from time to time. And it seems a little strange to introduce him to this audience because you all know him. You know that he is the holder of the William and Sylvia Krugel Chair in Gerontology, the Dean's Chair. One of the things that happened fairly recently, the university honored him in such a special way so that he is now a distinguished professor of gerontology, biological sciences, and medicine, which means he holds appointments in the Davis School, in Dornsife, and in Keck. But you know what else? He is a brilliant scientist. For those of you who know his work in mitochondria, oh my gosh, the unbelievable mysteries of aging that his lab is unraveling on our behalf. But something else, in the recent study by Stanford, who looked at the top scientists in the world, our dean was recognized as in the top 1% of world scientists, which, when you think of those numbers, that's extraordinary. And besides that, he has an entrepreneurial bent. He created a publicly traded company, Cobar, which is a bioscience company, and is using some of the things that they have found in the lab to find out ways that they can apply directly to us. But the one thing that's the hardest to understand about our dean is leadership. And I kind of consider myself a student of leadership. I've always been interested in it. So I've learned a lot from him. I try to emulate him. I'll never reach his level, but I love the fact that he's visionary. And he's able to communicate that vision to the faculty and the staff and the students and the donors. And I love that he cares. And I love that he has a can-do spirit. So if you have an idea and you take it to him, he says, how can we make this work? So when you think about it, of all metrics of leadership, they're all in just one person, our dean. So I am pleased to share our dean, Dr. Pinchas Cohen.
First, thanks as always, Sherry. Your introductions make it all worthwhile. And I only wish my mother was here to listen to them. So 2.5 weeks ago, I was on my way to Israel to give a lecture on precision longevity in a major meeting, which of course got canceled. I had to cancel my trip. And to be perfectly honest, I've been devastated since. It's an incredibly tough time to just deal with day-to-day life and to watch world events. And I'm fearful of what's ahead of us. I'm also incredibly grateful for all the touching emails and texts from many of you and all the other friends, including close friends of mine who are Arabs and Muslims and Palestinians, who share my commitment to eventual peace in the Middle East, which is so difficult to imagine in the aftermath of these horrible attacks. And yet, we have to believe that we do have something to offer the world here at the School of Gerontology, and that a commitment to our mission is the way out of being dragged down by these horrible events and the terrible feelings that we, at least I, go through during these times. And coming to work and engaging with my colleagues, my friends, my students, is what keeps me going in these terrible times. So hanging out with you here today is also a source of comfort. So thank you. And with that in mind, I just want to say it's great to be here on campus with everybody, even in these trying times. The academic year is well on its way. We're off to a fantastic start for the school and the university. And it's your support that makes it all happen. Benefactors, scholars, students, some of you may not have been to this kind of event before. It is, as David and Sherry said, one of the highlights of the year for all of us. And especially with the tremendous work, the incredible growth, and the fantastic achievements and discoveries that the Leonard Davis School faculty and students have achieved. And I want to name a few of these successes and honors and accolades that the school faculty and students have collected over the last year. Let me start by Associate Dean Jennifer Aylshire, who received a Provost Mentoring Award recently. Assistant Professor Berenice Benayoun has been recognized with a grant from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. She will be receiving the Rising Star Award from the Academy of Gerontology and Higher Education next week in their meetings in Tampa. The same meeting will also include awards to Professor Kate Wilbur, who will be getting the Donald Kent Award for contribution in teaching and service. And my predecessor and mentor, Professor Ed Schneider, Dean Emeritus, received the Clark Tibbetts Award for his contribution to gerontology over his career. One of our assistant professor, Rio Sanabria, who has been in this forum talking about his research, received the Navigage Foundation Award. Sebastian Bradhorst and Rio Sanabria also received the prestigious Hanson Thorell Family Research Award, which of course has been endowed by Sherry and her family, who remain so involved with the school, and thank you for that. Another great event that happened just a few weeks ago that started from the trenches, if you will, with some of our young assistant professors came together to start something they called GLAM, the Greater Los Angeles Geroscience Aging Meeting. And this was a fantastic event. They said, hey, can we put this thing together? I said, sure. You can have this little room over there anytime. We ended up having 300 people come to this event. We had to have an overflow room because our auditorium wasn't big enough. It's a sign of several things. One, our leadership in the aging field in this part of the world, the excitement that people all around the nation feel around innovations in aging, and a tremendous group of people here at USC who made things happen. And I'm very, very proud of everybody who was involved in this. Speaking of geoscience, we also launched a new minor in geoscience, and we're accepting applications also for the new doctorate degree that we started offering, in addition to the new degree we're launching now on aging and technology. So, as the program today illustrates, gerontology, geoscience are exciting, ever-evolving fields that are thriving, in which our school leads the way internationally. And focusing and capitalizing on this tremendous excellence is the reason I get up in the morning and come here. So our work touches on the entire lifespan, involves many different disciplines: biology, psychology, nutrition, demography, policy, technology, and aging services. And in addition to our dedicated and accomplished faculty, it's really our students who make some of the most advanced technology, innovation, biological discoveries, empathetic and committed engagement, and they're some of the most wonderful human beings that I've met. Working with students throughout my career has really been what keeps me engaged and excited. These students apply their interests, passions, and goals to create unique careers in aging and technology, precision aging, minority aging, novel approaches to Alzheimer's disease research, advancing nutrition interventions to delay aging, and promoting purposeful aging. And I've had students who became educators, became researchers, became Wall Street analysts. Whatever it is, we're proud of our students, and they all have amazing careers. So through service, leadership, scientific discovery, and other means, our students and faculty are committed to improving the lives of future generations. I can't tell you how honored and proud I am to be part of the school, part of this community, and a member of this community that is devoted to making lives better. And now I'd like to call up a member of our Board of Counselors who is an essential partner, along with the rest of the board, in helping me realize and achieve our vision for the school and help us invent new ways to help with age and health, wellness, and meaning, while implementing the innovations that will keep us getting there. I'd like to welcome Kathleen Gilmore. Kathleen, thank you for everything you've done for the school, and your leadership really means a lot.
Well, thank you, Hasi. And I'd just like to add to the comments that have been made about students so far. We all have the pleasure of being students today. We're in for a treat with some of the world-renowned experts in this field and some of the students who are learning from them and those who are supporting them. So put on your learning hats and off we go. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker. She is an accomplished student and one of Leonard Davis School's rising stars, Cassandra McGill, better known as Cassie. She is a biology of aging PhD candidate and conducts research in the Benayoun and Pike laboratories. Aside from her research, Cassie is a mentor to undergraduates, seeking research experience to prepare them for graduate and medical school. Following graduation in spring of 2025, Cassie plans to seek a postdoctoral fellow position in a lab that studies Alzheimer's disease therapeutics, and ultimately aspires to become a principal investigator to further research on prevention and treatment. Please help me in welcoming Cassandra McGill.
Hi everyone, thank you for that introduction, and thank you all for having me here today. My name is Cassie, and I am a fourth-year PhD candidate in the School of Gerontology's Geroscience program. My experience and interest in aging biology started earlier than most students. My dad, Bob McGill, had me when he was 54 years old. By the time I was in middle school, my dad was already retired, and I remember thinking, wow, this is great. My dad goes to all of my volleyball games, my theater performances, and he picks me up from school every day. Having an older dad was great. I felt truly blessed. I entered college at the University of California, Irvine when I was 18 and my dad was 72. I knew I loved science and I declared my major to be genetics, as my goal at the time was to be a genetic counselor. This changed very quickly. When I was 19, my dad 73, I noticed my dad's memory was declining. After several doctor and specialist visits, my dad was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. This quickly turned into dementia. I went from being my dad's daughter and best friend to his primary caretaker. For 3 years, I took care of my dad, and I gave him the best time I could. I never stopped taking him to doctor's appointments, trying to see if there was something that could help him. There wasn't. This was when I realized how much we don't know about aging and dementia, and how important research is. When it was time for me to figure out my next steps after college, I knew I wanted to research Alzheimer's disease, its molecular underpinnings, and potential therapeutics. After researching programs, the only one I wanted to apply to was here at the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. My advisor at the time said it was too risky to only apply to one school, so I also applied to UC Irvine, but I knew that if I didn't get into USC the first time, I would reapply the next year. I did get in that year. My dad passed away 2 weeks after I got accepted into the program. I miss him every day, but I know he would be so proud of the work that I'm doing, and I know that this work will eventually help other people's parents. Being here in the School of Gerontology has been extraordinary. I feel grateful every day that I am able to do the research I'm passionate about. Not only do the school's resources allow me to answer my geroscience questions in-house, but they also provide the means to network outside of the school with other scientists and leaders in geroscience. Each year, the school funds all of the PhD students in gerontology to go to the Gerontological Society of America Conference and the American Aging Association Conference. Here, not only have I made wonderful friends, but I've also started collaborations researching new compounds as interventions for Alzheimer's. Without funding from the school, I would not be able to attend meetings and make connections like this. The school also provides me with opportunities to strengthen my teaching skills. Undergraduate mentoring through the GenSTEM program and being a teaching assistant in geroscience courses ensures that in addition to my vigorous science education, I'm also learning to be a leader and a mentor. As I look toward my future career as a professor of gerontology and teaching the next generation of geroscientists, I am confident in the skills I have gained from the School of Gerontology to reach success. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra, for sharing your story and telling us about your impressive start for what should be a very promising career. So I hope you're all enjoying yourselves so far. Later we will hear from a world-renowned faculty member who is venerated and decorated ambassador for aging biology and the USC Leonard Davis School. But first, we're going to enjoy our lunch. Hello, everyone. I hope you are still enjoying the last of your lunches and have enjoyed some conversations over lunch that have stimulated questions and ideas. We would like to continue our program with the introduction of our faculty guest speaker, Professor Tuck Finch. Dr. Caleb Tuck Finch is a university professor and is the holder of the ARCO William F. Kieschnick Chair in the Neurobiology of Aging at the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. In 1984, almost 40 years ago, he founded the USC NIA-funded Alzheimer's Disease Research Center and currently serves as its co-director. In 1987, Tuck was appointed Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and is the recipient of most major awards in biomedical gerontology, including the Robert W. Kleinmeyer Award of the Gerontological Society of America, the Sandoz Premier Prize by the International Geriatric Association, and the Irving Wright Award of the American Federation for Aging Research. And the word I used was including. There are more. If that isn't enough, Tuck recently received an honorary doctorate from the French Academy. Tuck's research targets basic mechanisms in the human biology of aging, with a focus on inflammation and nutritional influences, air pollution influences on aging, the evolution of human lifespan and diseases of aging, and the Alzheimer's disease exposome, which is a framework for Alzheimer's disease and considers gene-environment interactions across the lifespan. Unfortunately, Tuck is not able to be with us in person due to a health-related event, but don't worry, he's fine. He was able to record his talk for us in advance. So if you will all direct your eyes towards the screen behind me, we will hear from Tuck Finch.
Good morning. I'm sorry I'm unable to be here in person, but I wanted to appreciate the opportunity to thank the many people here who have been so important to me. Mei Lee, Sherry Torrell, Dean Hasse, Keith Rankin. One of the factors that attracted me to USC in 1971 was the well-established philanthropy effort by James Barron, the founding director, and it's benefited me. These efforts have benefited me in many, many occasions. I often work on things that are new projects that have no recognized target by the National Institutes of Health. And on innumerable occasions, small amounts of money, sometimes large amounts of money, have enabled me to establish new projects that had benefit across the gerontology faculty and the USC faculty. The endowed chair that I sit on was an endowment enabled by William F. Kieschnick, who was outgoing CEO of ARCO, and that chair has yielded a regular amount of money for doing pilot projects in my lab. And I'm pleased that I knew Bill quite well for a good almost 15 years after he became acquainted with us. And I just think of the number of ways in which his gesture has benefited not only me, but the entire faculty. About 15 years ago, Ruth Ziegler got interested in the research that Eileen Crimmins and I were doing on inflammation, and she established a program for inflammation research with $500,000 of her own that attracted matching funds. And this was instrumental for Eileen and my work together and in our own separate groups that have established inflammation as a major process in aging and particularly in Alzheimer's disease. More recently, that major project came out of that was the air pollution and dementia studies, which now USC has been a leader in and it's very clear that air pollution is a major factor in dementia. And in the worst counties in the United States, dementia is 20% of people over the age of 60. And the less pollution in any area over a 10-year period, the lower rate of dementia. My lab is exploring some new drugs that may be protective against the effects of air pollution and dementia. So pilot funds are really critical for junior people particularly, but also senior people in starting new projects. The NIH has pilot funds in principle with smaller grants, but you wait a year after you've applied before you're going to get access to those funds. That's where endowed chairs and pilot funds that the dean might have available are absolutely indispensable. The amount of funds to start a new project are at least $50,000, and which supports a graduate student for 1 year approximately. But to really get a project going, a new project, it's in the round figures of $150,000. So that's the working number. Without any question, the development office here has been marvelous in raising these points, and I enjoy working with them and applaud their efforts and hope that the horizon that we have will encourage further donations. I might mention that my lab is working on exploring some new drugs that might protect against air pollution's effect on the brain, and preliminary results say that it helps a little bit, and I'm sure that will lead to some additional grants. But we're in a position in the Alzheimer's field where for the first time we have a treatment using monoclonal antibodies that slows cognitive loss by 25% at the early stages. The disadvantages of these antibodies is that about a third of the people taking them have brain swelling and hemorrhages, so the side effects are very serious. I might mention that a discovery made in my lab 30 years ago of a new form of amyloid toxicity called oligomeric amyloid. After 30 years, a company was formed, and Acumen Pharmaceuticals now has a monoclonal in phase 1 trial. So I have a keen interest in seeing what can be done to intervene in existing Alzheimer's, as well as prevent the onset by improving the environment. Well, I'm sorry I'm not here to enjoy the rest of the event and the lunch and the discussions, and I'm glad so many students are here to participate in the discussions as well. Thank you.
Thank you to Professor Finch for sharing his rich history and fantastic research findings with us. And now I'd like to introduce my fellow board member, Ms. Mercedes Carr. Mercedes earned her bachelor's degree from the Universidad Autónoma de Guadalajara in her native Mexico, and obtained a Master of Real Estate Development degree from the University of Southern California. Mercedes is the president of Belmont Village Senior Living, where she is responsible for the performance and expansion of its premier portfolio of 36 existing communities and development projects, the growth and opportunity of its employees, and the care and satisfaction of its residents. Prior to joining Belmont Village, Mercedes was Executive Vice President, Business and Relationship Manager at Welltower Incorporated. During her tenure at Welltower, Mercedes led transformative initiatives and was a key player in the company's rapid growth, including developing partnership agreements valued at over $15 billion. Before her time at Welltower, Mercedes served as Vice President Acquisitions at Health Peak Properties, and for 10 years where she completed close to $10 billion of transactions. Mercedes Kerr is a well-recognized healthcare real estate professional with long and enduring relationships across the healthcare sector and has played an influential role in the senior housing industry's evolution. Mercedes has served on various boards in various capacities, and she is a former member of the board of Sunrise Senior Living and Silverado, as well as former executive committee board member at ASHA and a former board member of the California Assisted Living Association. And additionally, in 2019, Mercedes was appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom's Stakeholder Advisory Committee, which was formed in response to the state of California's Master Plan on Aging. Mercedes is currently an executive committee board member at Argentum, a board member of the National Investment Center for Seniors Housing and Care, and a member of the Board of Counselors at the USC Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. Please join me in welcoming my fellow board member, Mercedes Kerr.
Thank you. I would have sent a much shorter list of things to say had I known you were going to get the full list. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, and I wanted to say that in particular for all of the students who are here today, you are the future. I want to talk about that in a second, and very, very proud to participate at any level with the sort of brilliance and the innovation and all of the energy that you're bringing forward in the field of gerontology. My partner Patricia Will, who sends all her regards, I'm actually here in her stead today, wanted me to mention one thing in particular about the reason why Belmont Village created the first of its kind scholarship fund at the School of Gerontology. I believe that companies such as Belmont Village, who are so invested in this space and really want to see innovate the future of what happens in our space, our first and foremost investment is in all of you, the students who are here, and trying to support you in any way that we can. And for Patricia, she wanted me to mention that she herself was the result of a lot of support and scholarships, and she attended undergraduate school and graduate school as a result of that kind of support. And so for her, that it's very meaningful to have created this scholarship fund. And for me, I would tell you that as part of Argentum, some of you might be familiar with the organization. It's one of the seniors housing and care industry groups. And they put out a report not very long ago, which is called the Workforce Projections for Senior Care. And in this report, they talk about how, given that right now, every single day, our senior population, as we define it, grows by 10,000 people per day. But our workforce is not growing at a similar clip. And so when we think about, this study was based on numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, starting in 2021 and projecting all the way to 2040. So when we look at that period of time and we look at the total senior care employment trends, I'm talking about home health, assisted living, skilled nursing, all fields and all areas of senior care, and the employment needs that will be resulting just from the population, the aging of our population and the demographic trends that we all know, we as an industry are going to need another 2.5 million employees between now and 2040. That is a 42% growth in the staffing ratios that we have today, or the number of people that we have committed to this industry, given traditional turnover rates and so on that we have in our space, that means that we're going to need a little bit more than 8.5 million workers. We're going to have to fill 8.5 million positions in senior care between now and 2040. So the work that is ahead of us is great. The work that the School of Gerontology here at USC is doing specifically is very important. For many years, and probably my first connection with the school was to participate in a class that is taught by Dr. Ed Schneider, and where he attracts everybody that you could ever hope to meet in the seniors housing industry, CEOs, captains of industry, and they come to teach a class on leadership. And we all take turns talking to, it seems like every year he has more and more students in this class. And so what I perceive the great importance of what the school is doing right now is that we are developing here at USC the future leadership of the seniors housing and care and just the total senior care industry. And we're going to be serving an important need. The leaders of that future need that are going to be serving those needs are here today. It's all of you students, and so I'm again very proud to know that we contribute even in the smallest bit to your development. But for all of you fellow sponsors and participants in what USC is doing, I commend you, I thank you. And I encourage you to think about just the leadership that we're developing, the need that we're going to be serving. These are the people who are going to take forward that 8.5 million people that are going to be serving the needs of our senior population. And so, our work will continue with the Davis School, and we're going to be very happy to be able to say that each one of you students who are here today, that you are part of this great institution, and also a great work, a great mission that is being attended to here. So very proud to be a part of it. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you to all of you who also support the school.
Mercedes, wait. Goodies.
I love goodies.
So, Mercedes, the partnership with you personally and with the senior living industry is a fundamental, important icon of the school. So thank you. Here are some flowers, they're lovely.
Whatever it is, I'm going to learn.
Thank you for a lovely speech.
Thank you so much.
Well, I almost don't want to do this, but our day together is coming to an end. I hope you were inspired by the people who spoke to us and the people sitting right next to you. There's a lot happening at the school that is incredibly important, and it is a pleasure and an honor to be a part of it and to get to know as many of you as I can. I think we all feel that way. So with all of that, I hope you enjoyed your time here today, and I hope these conversations continue and lead to more memorable shared experiences. Fight on.